That's why I was saying, like.
That's still on Facebook and still on Sling Studio, no?
It's on.
Welcome to the Balm of Gilead. We should be live and cracking.
We're live. Hit the music.
Appreciate everybody standing by. I really had to use the bathroom.
Oh man.
But we here.
Show you the truth, now if you will, it's time to heal your body, mind, your soul, is right through the spirit. All it takes is an open ear for those who would hear it. The healing of your sins, the washing of the word in Jesus' name, it will heal your pain, and you will find that you won't be the same. And if you need healing right now, it's time for
Welcome to another edition of the Balm of Gilead. Sisters and brothers, we apologize sincerely for the technical difficulties. It's raining here in Riverdale, Illinois, right here in Chicago. Good grief, sisters and brothers. The devil is trying to stop this show. But guess what? The devil is a liar. Welcome to another edition of the Balm of Gilead. We are not going to cheat you. We're going to get your hour. You're going to get your hour. And tonight's episode, oh my gosh. Tonight, what is it? Oh,
Servants of God.
what?
Strangers versus Israel.
Service of God, strangers versus Israel.
Wrestling match.
Man, can God use the stranger as well as Israel? How do you feel about the rest of the sons of Noah? Be careful before you answer. Please be careful. You might just incriminate yourself. Man, tonight's lesson will be brought to you by our brother in the faith, brother a.k.a. Lewis, a.k.a. Old Dot, a.k.a. Old Dizzle, the locksmith. Take it away,
Hey,
old.
praise the Lord for being here.
Man.
My hands are sweaty. That's probably why it took so long. I was getting nervous. I was messing up all the phones, but it's all good.
Man.
Hey, shout out to Millie Vanilli because we blaming it on the rain. That's what's happening.
On the rain.
Blaming it on, you gotta blame it on something.
You gotta blame me.
So, yeah.
Man, sisters and brothers, get your, we want you to like this episode. We want you to share and post this episode. Shouts out to the hardest working crew, the Balm of Gilead crew. Got us up and got us running, sisters and brothers. Brother Dre Doke, Sister Maja Doke. Brother Will, the Thrill Turner.
Hey.
Sister Maja. I said it, didn't I? Okay, Sister Siobhan. Special guest, Sister Siobhan Adams in the house, sisters and brothers. Man, I am your host, Brother Julius and Brother Lewis, the locksmith. We'll be bringing the lesson tonight. Before we go any further, please, sisters and brothers, on the serious side, shouts and prayers go out to the God of Israel. On behalf of those in Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, another 4.5 to 4.9 earthquake today. They said it was an aftershock. But I thought aftershocks were like 2 or 1. No, this is 4. This is on the 4 scale, sisters and brothers.
Oh, man.
Our special prayer for Brother Stephen Wallace on the loss of his grandson today, Josiah. Again, keep Brother Stephen Wallace and his family in your prayers on the loss of his grandson, Josiah. Also, prayers for little sister Kaylee Parker. Stay strong. The battle is not yours. Give it to the Lord.
Yes, sir.
Man, we ask all those prayers in the name of Jesus, sisters and brothers, in the name of Jesus. And, hey, our hearts go out to all those. Keep all those in your prayers. Welcome Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Who else we got? YouTube. Periscope. Man, social media is growing every day. Oh, tell us about tonight's lesson.
Hey, I just want to start off with a warning. I intend tonight to read an entire chapter of Psalm.
What?
Somebody give Brother Julius some water. Oh, he got it already. Even better. Okay, so everybody be ready. I intend to read a whole chapter. All right, so just know that.
I think I'm going to do the reading, sister and brother. I intend to read a whole chapter.
Agreed.
Sister and brother, as always, before we go into the lesson, we're going to give you Psalm Isaiah 61, which is the theme of the Balm of Gilead. It reads, "The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to preach good tidings unto the meek. He has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, and the opening of the prison to them that are bound, to proclaim the acceptable year of the Lord, and the day of vengeance of our God, to comfort all that mourn, to appoint unto them that mourn in Zion, to give unto them beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness,
Yes, sir.
that they might be called trees of righteousness, the planting of the Lord." It's always about him.
Always.
That he might be glorified. Sisters and brothers. And again, we want to thank you for joining us on this Thursday evening. It's dark and damp raining here. And sisters and brothers, again, I want to send a special thank you out to my brother in studio for a wonderful lesson last week. Brother Dre Doak.
Oh, yeah, turn it.
Oh, man.
Brother Dre Doak. He brought it last week. Sisters and brothers. I would apologize for getting emotional, but I wouldn't mean it. It moved me like that. It just, Spirit of the Lord was here in the Balm of Gilead studio. Oh, without further ado, please take it away, bro.
Just real quick on last week, I remember being caught up too off camera. So,
Man.
I'm sure everybody else had that same type of experience. So, yeah, one more time for last week.
Man, let's be something.
Oh, yeah. Shout out to everybody who came late, because we was late too. So, we on
We're
time.
going to teach you. You might get a little bonus tonight.
Uh-oh.
You might get a little bonus tonight, sister and brother.
Sister Camille on
Man.
what's this, on YouTube? I got a bunch of stuff going on. I see y'all on YouTube, so go on here, shout out in the chat.
Kaleem.
Yeah, Kaleem always in the house.
ATL in the house.
Yes,
OG. ATL.
I see Brother Thin joining us today.
Yes,
That's
mister.
always a good thing. Brother Azza, Antoinette Simpson, Sister Nancy, one of the regulars.
Man.
Caleb. That's one I don't see all the time. Brother Caleb, welcome. Appreciate you dropping in.
Shout out to IOG, Baton Rouge, James Anderson, Louisiana. Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Man, shouts out, bro. Thanks for the calling. Let us know that you was waiting on the Balm of Gilead. Thank you for being a faithful listener. In Jesus' name.
Sister Linda and Sister Crystal, I couldn't tell who
How you
came
doing,
in
Linda?
first.
It's real.
Crystal always the first one in.
Man,
I still
Crystal
want to
Wells.
know how. She got a special phone or something. I
That's
don't know.
that Southwest thing going
It
on.
must be. For real. And Elenzia Booker,
D.
seemed like you shouted them out before.
I think I did. I think I
Right
did. What's that?
Elenzia
Booker?
Yeah.
How you doing there? How you doing? Antoinette Simpson, how you doing? Paul Ryan, Barrett, how you doing? Bruce Terry, how you doing? Key Israel from the Truth Hour Bible Radio Show, hosted by Black Ice. Welcome to the Balm of Gilead. We all one family.
Oh, Sister
Man.
Debbie, okay.
Sister
I see.
Debbie, our Balm of Gilead, one of our people that Sister Debbie puts out all those, and Sister Mike put all those Balm of Gilead items that you see on your regular Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
That's Sister, she's online. Y'all wait to Sister Debbie. Man, wait to Sister Debbie. Man, we to everybody that's joining the show, thank you for joining. We got to get to it because we got to get in and we got to get y'all get this out so we won't get fired.
And just last thing before we get started,
Yes.
A brother on here say he listening to us before he work out. So if you see us get pumped up, that's probably why. I want to make sure that brother don't drop the bar on himself.
Man.
All right, so here we go.
Man.
So one more time, the name of the episode is The Servants of God, Israel versus the Strangers.
Yes.
Right, and you know the reason I would name title it Israel versus the Strangers because a lot of times people think that God is like man, right? So you know a lot of times people they have children and they kind of like these my children and you know them other children over there. You know I don't really know them like that. They're not friends with my kids. They don't go to school with my kids. They don't play on the same team as my kids.
Okay.
So it's like you know it's my kids and then everybody else in the neighborhood is kind of like whatever. Right, and you know that's the way of man.
Yeah.
And if anybody listening to me, you find that that's not you, then shout out to you because that's everybody else. And the difference between us and the Lord is that He doesn't really see it that way, right? Because all of the kids are technically His, so He's just dealing with the ones that want to deal.
Okay.
And that's what I plan to explore today. Some of the other kids that wanted to deal and how the Lord interacted with them.
Yes.
Right, so that's what we on. I got one question that I like to try to come with a question, and the question for tonight's episode, and we're gonna answer it rather quickly. So if you got the answer, type it quick. And the question is, was Abraham's daddy a pagan? Was Abraham's father a pagan?
Yeah.
It's kind of a side question as far as the class is concerned, but I know because you know I grew up going to church since a teenager. And that is like the prevailing thought that God called Abraham out of paganism into, you know, what He wanted him to do, right? And so we want to explore that idea. Just because God calls me out of something doesn't necessarily automatically mean I was in paganism. He might just be calling me out of my parents' house because He want to give me something.
Whoa.
Maybe. And we're gonna see, right? So. I'm stalling because I want to know if anybody out there knows the answer. Was Abraham's daddy?
Was Abraham's daddy a pagan?
Mm-hmm.
Was Abraham's daddy a pagan?
Oh, yeah. So, and one more thing, was God dealing with anybody before Israel?
Whoa.
Right, because a lot of times, you know, if you talk to somebody, you'll get them to say that God dealt with Adam, He dealt with Noah, He dealt with Shem.
Yeah.
Right, but are we to think that it was only 6 people before Jacob? He just dealt with them 6 people, and everybody else in the entire creation is done, right? Skipped over everybody who wasn't mentioned, right? Because you know, even in your line of patriarchs, you know, you just get the son of,
right?
Like, all them brothers, like nobody else dealt with God, right? We gonna see, right? So let's start this in Genesis chapter 11. Take it to the beginning. We got a whole lot of Old Testament to read because, like I said, we want to start before Israel. Right? Maybe if everybody, all the audience treat me nice enough, we'll do a part 2 and talk about after Moses.
Yeah.
But for right now, we're gonna deal primarily with before Moses or up until Moses.
Okay.
All right. So Genesis chapter 11. I see it look like everybody done fell in, so it's on now.
It's on
Sister
now.
Judea, I see you.
Like, share, post. Like, share, post.
And yeah, in the spirit of Brother Will, I did that already. I shared to my personal page. I won't be mad at y'all if y'all take a second to do that. We'll still be here. It's okay.
All right, man.
Yes, sir.
And again, tonight's lesson, service of God. Service of God, Israel versus the stranger. Can God use anybody else other than Israel? Has He? Man, where we going on?
We're gonna get specific with that because there's a lot in that statement, but we gonna see. Genesis 11, we're gonna start this at verse 10. Right? This is the table of the nations. Genesis 11 and 10.
These are the generations of Shem. Shem was 100 years old and begat Arphaxad 2 years after the flood.
So the sons of Noah, we following Shem's lineage right now, right? Because the Bible says Noah was a preacher of righteousness.
Yes.
Right? And Shem was one of his sons. And here we go. Let's go verse 24.
And Nahor lived 9 and 20 years and begat Terah. And Nahor lived after he begat Terah 119 years and begot sons and daughters.
So Nahor is Abraham's granddaddy.
Uh-huh.
And the reason why we read that scripture, that verse, is because I want to make sure everybody keeps it separated. Abraham's granddaddy, Nahor, from Abraham's brother, that's going to be called Nahor.
Yeah.
Right? Go ahead, please.
And Terah lived 70 years and begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran.
Mm-hmm.
Now these are the generations of Terah. Terah begot Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran begot Lot.
So we got two brothers. One of them is Lot, other one is Haran. Go ahead.
And Haran died before his father Terah in the land of his nativity in Ur of the Chaldees.
Right, so don't get lost now, because Haran is the younger brother that died before everybody else while they were still live in Ur.
Yep.
Right, but if we stop right there, it might sound like everybody should have died in Ur. Right, we're going to keep going though. Verse 29.
And Abram and Nahor took them wives.
Mm-hmm.
The name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife Milcah, the daughter of Haran, the father of Milcah and the father of Iscah.
Right, so Abraham got him a wife, or both of them took wives,
Yep.
still in Ur of the Chaldees. Right, then what happened? Verse 31, I'm sorry.
And Terah took Abram his son, and Lot the son of Haran his son's son, and Sarai his daughter-in-law, his son Abram's wife, and they went forth with them from Ur of the Chaldees to go into the land of Canaan, and they came into Haran and dwelt there.
So I don't know if everybody caught that, but I thought Abraham was sent to the promised land. And the Bible does say that he was sent, but we see here that his father actually had it purposed in his mind
Yes.
to go into the land of Canaan.
Yes.
Right now, we're not going to speculate on what that means. We're just going to let the Bible sit there that the man left Ur on his way to Canaan.
Right.
And for whatever reason, he didn't make it there.
Right.
So I'm saying that to say that Abraham being called out into the promised land
Right.
is not really even a big deal.
Right.
Because his father's house was already on their way there.
Right?
Right?
Good.
And similar to Israel, if you get you a map, after the show, go get you a map, right? Ur of the Chaldees, Babylon, all that, that's in Iraq, right? Iraq is directly east of the promised land.
Yes.
So what that means is that Abraham's father and them, they could have had just walked straight west to get to the land, but instead they went north to Haran. Similar to how Israel did, right? Coming out of Egypt, instead of going straight in, they went a different route, right? Connections.
Student of the Bible, sisters and brothers.
Now,
Student.
let's go to chapter 12, because we just went up the family tree
Yeah.
away from Israel up to Abraham and even to his father. Now we can kind of branch outward from Israel, or from Abraham and his descendants or his kinsmen at all. Right? Chapter 12 and not Abraham, excuse me.
Yes.
Genesis chapter 12, and let's do verse 9. Shout out to Darius Todd. What's good, bro? I see you.
Man. And Abram journeyed, going on still toward the south. And there was a famine in the land. And Abram went down into Egypt to sojourn there. For the famine was grievous in the land. And it came to pass, when he was come near to enter into Egypt, that he sent unto Sarai, his wife.
So now, if you start at verse 1 is when he called Abraham out.
Right.
And so then he began his journey south to the promised land.
Yeah.
Right? And that's why I said in verse 9, still going towards the south. We're not going to read every single detail, but it is important to recognize that he's on his way to Egypt. And we know how God feel about Egypt, right?
Yeah.
All right, you finish 11?
The end of 11. Behold now, I know that thou art a fair woman to look upon.
Right, so he's telling his wife, you fair.
You
Verse
fine,
13.
baby. You fine. She fine. She was fine.
I think most likely.
Drug free.
Most likely.
No crack eating. None of that. No.
That's right.
Okay.
No lead in the water.
No.
Oh my God.
No. 13.
Yes, sir.
Say, I pray thee, thou art my sister, that it may be well with me for thy sake, and my soul shall live because of thee.
Mm-hmm.
And it came to pass that when Abram was coming to Egypt, the Egyptian beheld a woman that she was very fine,
Man.
very fair.
Any man can notice something fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. The princes also of Pharaoh saw her and commended her before Pharaoh, and the woman was taken into Pharaoh's house.
So now, for the sake of time, I just want to ask this question simply. When a woman's beauty is noticed,
Yes.
and all the men notice it, and if she's the most beautifulest thing, the only right thing is that she should go to the king, right? What's wrong with this man's wife being in there with the king?
Man.
And you know, it's the obvious answer, right? It's not a mystery. It's because of sin, because of adultery, right? All that kind of good stuff, right? And so my question is, why should sinners care about sin? Because, you know, I wasn't always like a follower of the word. I fractured an occasional commandment. And when I did, like, I wasn't really concerned about the sin part of it. Like, it's what it is, what we do. Right? So just food for thought. Why should this man care about the sin part? Right? Verse 17.
And the Lord plagued Pharaoh and his house with great plagues because of Sarai, Abram's wife.
I wonder if Pharaoh's heart was hardened here. This is similar to what happened to King Saul when he lost the Ark of the Covenant, even though here the wife was kind of almost given to him, right? But he hit him with a plague, though, right? Verse 18. And
Pharaoh called Abram and said, what is this that thou hast done unto me? Why did thou not tell me that she was your wife? Why saidst thou, she is my sister? So I might have taken her to be the wife. Now therefore, behold thy wife. Take her and go thy way. And Pharaoh...
So in the King James, right, I know our brother Bowie be saying like punctuation. Sometimes you gotta like be careful because like as I'm reading this, it say, why did thou say she is my sister? ? Then it says, so I might have taken her to meet a wife. Almost seems like it should be a question mark there too. Like, why did you tell me that's your sister? Did you want me to take her as my wife? Is the question that's being asked there. But notice that Pharaoh wasn't really triggered on the plagues. He didn't say anything about the plagues. He worried about the adultery part. Right? And that's why I said like it's similar to in Exodus with the plague, but like he ain't on that. Like, why did you tell me that was your sister? Did you want me to take your wife to be my wife? That's what he's concerned with. Okay? Now, and notice that the plague came even though he didn't touch it. Right? Let's flip over to chapter 20. And we're going to deal with another dude that Abraham came in contact with. Because I know that's a little shaky, you know. Locksmith, he didn't really say he worshiped God, he served God. Come on, man. That come better than that, bro. Cool. Let's go to chapter 20. Because Abraham, he was that dude. And we're going to see that the Lord showed himself through that dude. Right? Chapter 20 and verse 1, please.
And Abraham journeyed from there toward the south country and dwelt between Kadesh and Shur, and sojourned in Gerar.
So now he journeyed from after Egypt. I forget where he went after Egypt, but now he's going back through the land of Canaan again. If you look up all these names are cities within the land of Canaan. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 2. And Abraham said of Sarai his wife, she is my sister. And Abimelech, king of Gerar, sent and took Sarah.
Again. She's my sister again.
Man.
Okay. All right, go ahead.
Real talk.
Luckily, the Lord is on his side. All right, go ahead.
But God came to Abimelech in a dream by night and said to him, behold, thou art but a dead man. For the woman which thou hast taken, for she is a man's wife.
Now, hold on. You just said God came to him in a dream?
Came to Abimelech in a dream.
So, God came to this wicked king in a dream? To warn him about something. You remember when Miriam and Aaron was talking about Moses, he said, look, Moses the prophets I talked to in a dream. Right? But not with Moses, he talked face to face. But this guy here, and I'm not calling this guy a prophet, I'm just saying that the Bible said that he came to him in a dream. That's what I'm saying. And I mean, how many people looking at me can say that the Lord came to them in a dream? I think my pastor say that the Lord ain't never came to him in a dream. Right? And I'm not saying that for nobody's character. I'm just saying that to point out that he came to this king that's supposed to be wicked, devilish,
but
whatever.
But the king wasn't an Israelite, brother.
And definitely wasn't an Israelite. We're going to find out who he's the king of in a minute. And it's going to make your mouth drop. All right? So, verse 4.
But Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Lord, wilt thou slay also a righteous nation?
Come on.
That's what it says.
So the wicked king gonna call him Lord, and then the wicked king is gonna say, Lord, are you gonna slay a righteous nation? Because Abraham your friend, right? Because he's a friend of God, right? So since that's your friend, you gonna kill a righteous nation? I think that's worth pausing for a second. That like it's one thing for this wicked king, quote unquote, wicked king to be talking to the Lord in a dream. It's another thing for the wicked king to tell the Lord, hey, Are you gonna kill a righteous nation? Where does righteousness come from?
And he said, Lord.
Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna answer it, Brother Julie. You can answer it if you want to, but I would prefer somebody out there to answer. Where does righteousness come from? How does somebody become righteous? How does that even work? You just pray, you're baptized, circumcised. What is it that makes somebody righteous? We're gonna wait for y'all, because I know somebody out there knows. What makes you righteous? Right?
Where does righteousness come from?
Yes.
Man.
Because this man said that he's king over righteous nation. I wonder how many people have to be righteous for your nation to be, Israel's supposed to be, taking part of righteousness. How many kings in the Bible you ever heard called Israel righteous nation? That's food for thought.
Wow, that is food for thought.
That's food for thought. Oh, there we go. Sister Hannah in there and Brother Will right at the same time. Keeping the law. If keeping the law is what makes you righteous, then I guess all we can say is that's how the nation became righteous. Right? And I'm keeping it secret who this nation is. We're going to read it in a second. Though.
You know what that reminds me of? Oh, that reminds me of Leviticus 18. When the Lord tells Israel, don't learn the way of the stranger, that I cast you out as they sinned against me and I cast them out.
Absolutely.
Oh, sound like the Lord has always dealt with nations. My fault, your lesson. My fault.
It don't sound like it. It's reading like it. It's reading like it. Right? Because not just this king, we got a nation of righteousness. All right, verse 5.
I got to read that again. Verse 4.
Certainly, why not?
It says, but Abimelech had not come near her. And he said, Lord, wilt thou say also a righteous nation?
That might be something to think about as an American, that the king, took the woman and then didn't come near her. Like, how they be like, don't put the cart before the horse.
Right.
And, don't try to milk her and however they say. I don't know all the saying.
Right.
But like, he didn't go straight to sleeping with her. Okay.
Said he not unto me, she is my sister? And even she herself said, he is my brother. In the integrity of my heart and innocency of my hands have I done this.
So he pleading his case.
Wow.
He pleading his case to God. Remember, he started off questioning God, though. Right? I don't know if we really see the magnitude of that. It's like the Lord come tell you, hey, you know you about to die, right? And then your response is, Lord, what you gonna kill? Well, the righteous people. Like, I don't know how many of us could even come at. I don't know if I could come at him like that. And he say you finna die. The first thing out of my mouth is, ooh, my bad. Did I do it? I'm sorry. And Buddy's just like, man, you gonna kill a righteous nation though? Almost like Job. Ain't that how Job came at him? Yeah.
The thing about this, is when I read this years ago, I looked at this years ago, I said, my God, he is the creator of all nations and people and tongues.
Praise God.
Man, verse 6. And God said unto him, in a dream. In a dream.
So we still in this dream. Okay. Or maybe another dream. Oh, man, if it was more than one dream. Oh, my gosh.
Hey.
But okay.
God said unto him in a dream, yeah, I know that thou didst this in the integrity of thine heart.
Hold on, man. I think I missed the integrity. In verse 5, the man said that in the integrity of my heart and innocency, and then God just co-signed him and said, yeah, I know you got integrity. I know that.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, I guess you have to if you king over a righteous nation, though, right? Okay, fine.
Oh, hey, Sister Maya, the Lord is always saying, Dre, I hear people always say, the Lord know my heart. I'm looking at this right here.
Right, yeah.
He said, yeah, I know that thou didst, so you can't have nothing from him. The Lord knows your intentions of your mind, sisters and brothers. Be careful. Be careful how you approach the God of Israel.
You know that means that this king also knew that. That's why he came at him like that. Because he know that the Lord knows. So it's like, hey, you going to kill the righteous? I know you know I'm righteous. What's up?
And to show that he runs it all, look at this. Show you that the Lord runs it all. He said, yeah, I know that thou did this in the integrity of thy heart. For I also withheld thee from sinning against me. Therefore suffered I thee not to touch her.
So try to take it in, right? In the proper context.
The goosebumps.
God is not telling him, I know you're an okay person. I'm going to give you mercy and I'm going to let it slide. I'm going to give you a pass this time. Like, no, he's saying, I know you got integrity. And that's why nothing happened. So it's all good. As a matter of fact, it's not all good. Do you got a definition of integrity over there?
I do.
Please. Because, you know, we Americans, man. You know, we African Americans. So sometimes we don't all agree on definitions. So,
Israelite American.
oh, fine. Israelite Americans, even more so.
Man.
Right? Let's get a definition to integrity so we all be on the same page.
The definition of integrity, first of all, it's a noun.
Mm-hmm.
The quality of being honest and having strong moral principles. And that source came out of the Cambridge Dictionary.
Yes, sir. Cambridge Dictionary, because that's over there in England,
Yeah.
and we speak English, so it makes sense.
The quality of being honest
Mm-hmm.
and having strong moral principles.
So yeah,
Whoa.
somebody outside of Abraham's family who served God, right?
Wow.
Actually, it was other people with no connection at all to Abraham. We talking about here. Again, we're gonna read about who he's the king of. Give me 1 second. And shout out to the Balm of Gilead staff. They threw the whole definition in on Facebook, so you ain't gotta go look it up yourself. If you watching us on YouTube, Instagram, you might wanna, back and forth so you can catch that definition on Facebook.
Wow.
And we got somebody on YouTube say, Sister Camille say, I think God was calling me out of paganism too this holiday season.
Praise the Lord.
Yeah, praise the Lord.
Praise the Lord, sister.
For sure. For
Praise
sure.
the Lord.
Coming a long way. Turn
Man.
up. I see Sister Crystal knew the definition of righteous too. Keeping the law. That's what's up.
My goodness.
For sure. That's we at verse
We're at 20.
we just read 6.
Yep.
Let's read verse 9, please.
It reads, Then Abimelech called Abraham and said unto him, What have you done unto us? And what have I offended thee that thou hast brought on me and on my kingdom a great sin?
Man, the sinner is worried about sin again?
Thou hast done deeds unto me that ought not to be done.
Agreed.
That ought not to be done. And Abimelech said unto Abraham,
How you know that ain't supposed to be done? You supposed to be of the nations. You supposed to take everybody's wife and you just do orgies and all that. How you know it ain't supposed to be done, King?
evidently the Lord dealt with him.
Clearly.
Things that ought not to be done, somebody was instructed, sisters and brothers.
And I just realized when you was quoting Leviticus 18, I think it's in chapter 19.
Yeah.
It might be 18, where he told them that when you get into this land,
Right.
all of these people, I think we're going to read it today, all of these people are doing all of that sexual stuff. And so this guy here is supposed to be part of that.
But
But
he
he
said,
not, though.
but he said he was righteous.
Mm-hmm.
And he said a righteous nation.
Yeah.
Oh man, man.
Come on.
Verse 10 again. And Abimelech said unto Abraham, What sawest thou that thou hast done this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham said, Because I thought surely the fear of God is not in this place.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa. And they will slay me for my wife's sake.
This sounds like Jake in the 21st century, right? You think because you far away from home, or maybe you're not, you just in some restaurant, or I don't know. And I've heard people say though, like the fear of God is not in this place. It's like you don't even know these people. How do you know that? You've never been here before. It's the same thing. It's the same thing our fathers did.
Food for thought.
Yeah. Don't just assume. Sometimes the fear of God's there. Sometimes. Right? Let's move quickly to chapter 26. We want to look at another patriarch.
Old Dizzle style.
And we're going to deal with who King Abimelech was the king of. Right? The city is called Gerar, but the name of the people, we're going to find out right now. 26 and verse 1.
And there was a famine in the land, beside the first famine that was in the days of Abraham.
Man, ain't that what got Jacob into Egypt? Was because it was a famine?
Yeah. Besides the first famine.
You know, the Lord work in patterns. Right? So it might be worth your time to go study this pattern and see what's going on here. But go ahead.
And Isaac went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines, unto Gerar.
How long? Isaac went to the king of the Israel, because the righteous king.
He went unto Abimelech, king of the Philistines,
King of the Philistines.
unto Gerar.
Like, you mean like David and Goliath Philistines?
Yes, sir.
Like the arch enemy of Israel.
Hey, all I knew is one Philistines. One Philistines.
Because they would have been the same Philistines that's in the land of Canaan, right?
That's right.
Okay, fine. Go ahead, please.
And the Lord appeared unto him and said, Go not down into Egypt. Dwell in the land which I shall tell thee of.
Don't even run to Egypt. Stay here with the king of the Philistines. Go
Sojourn in this land, and I will be with thee, and will bless thee. For unto thee and unto thy seed I will give all these countries, and I will perform the oath which I swear unto Abraham thy father.
So I wonder if a lot of times when the Lord don't let you move on or move out, if maybe it's you worried about the fear of God not being here, but maybe he's trying to get you to see that the fear of God is here. Just maybe. Right? Let's do verse 4.
And I will make thy seed to multiply as the stars of heaven, and will give unto thy seed all these countries, and in thy seed shall all the nations of the earth be blessed.
All right, and you'll see all the nations of Israel will be blessed.
Man, all the nations of the earth.
Oh.
Of the earth, bro.
All the
Don't
nations,
get it twisted.
Not the nations of Ephraim.
Nuh-uh. The nations of the earth.
Oh.
Nations.
Oh. Okay.
The nations.
I mean, it makes sense because Israel not even around
I
yet.
mean, for God so loved the world, and the world consists of nations. Wow.
They say, and you'll see all the nations of the earth be blessed. And what he really talking about here is that the earth is going to bless themselves through your seed. Right? Because that's what we do, right? Through Jesus, we receive blessing.
Come on, Drip.
Right?
Come on.
Yes,
come
sir.
on, come
Verse
on.
6.
Man. And Isaac dwelt in Gerar. And the men of the place asked him of his wife. And he said, she is my sister.
You know, I be having this same problem every time I go somewhere. They ask me about my wife. I be like, look, she fed. Mind your business. Okay, go ahead, man. Go ahead.
For he... Man, come on, man.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, you know.
That is right. For he feared to say, she is my wife. Lest said he, the men of the place should kill me for Rebekah, because she was fair to look upon.
Man, Isaac do the same thing his daddy did.
His dad did.
Man, so like
It's just my baby dad.
Look. So we all know
Yeah.
that God is not a God of the Philistines,
Yeah.
right? Do we know that? I don't know if we know that.
Uh,
I think we probably assumed that.
I can read it. I can read it in the New Testament. It says, is he the God of Israel? He's not the God of the Gentiles also?
Yeah.
The creator and maker of everything?
And if you don't believe the man, you don't believe the New Testament, then here we go.
Somebody better read. Better save yourself.
Verse 8.
And it came to pass, when he had been there a long time, that Abimelech, king of the Philistines, looked out of the window and saw, and behold, Isaac was sporting with Rebekah, his wife.
Turn up. So, all for all the married people, turn up. So, sporting, right? It's like playing around, right? That kind of play where you can tell that ain't your sister. That's definitely not your sister. I never played with my sister like that. Right? So, that's what we talking about here. Sporting. Feel free to go Google it.
It's all good. You know, maybe do a little hickey here, a little hickey here.
Yeah, that's definitely not his sister.
Hey.
Because he served the same God I serve, so I know that ain't his sister.
Yeah.
All right.
Nothing wrong with that, bro.
Verse 9.
That's your wife.
What Abimelech do about it?
And Abimelech called Isaac and said, behold, of a surety she is thy wife.
He's sure of it. I'm sure of it.
And how sayest thou, she is my sister? Hey man, the thing you doing here, that ain't none of your sister.
Cut it out.
And Isaac said unto him, because I said, lest I die for her.
Poor Abimelech. Oh, poor man. Poor
And
man.
Abimelech said,
Hold on, wait a minute. Hold on. I wonder, before you read that, I wonder if this poor man is still holding on to the righteousness from before.
man,
Because when Abraham was there, he told God that it was a righteous nation and God didn't call him a liar.
it
So
sound like he got again.
that's what I read.
He got God again.
Yeah.
Wow.
And by the son, father and the son. Boy, that's Israel.
Man.
Boy, that is Israel. Boy, get over them.
Hey man, they ain't done it. Can y'all, hey sister, brother, like O say, can you close your eyes? Hey man, they ain't none of your sister. Stop playing.
Somebody-
Hey, stop playing, Isaac. Stop playing.
Somebody asked who the Philistines are.
Man.
Sister Nancy said, out of Philistines, Ishmael. So Ishmael is Abraham's son.
Yeah.
Right? So the Philistines obviously are before that because you got a king over.
Yeah.
So way before Ishmael.
Yeah.
That's Ham, right?
That's Ham's children.
Yeah.
Ishmael come out of Shem, sisters and brothers.
Yes, sir.
Ishmael are Shemites. Ishmaelites, Arabs are Shemites.
For sure. And I see somebody answered the question. I just want to make sure we addressed it too. Shout out to the sister who answered us.
One law, brother, for all people. One book.
So what did he say to Isaac after being tricked the second time? Verse 10.
And Abimelech said, what is this that thou hast done unto us? One of the people might likely have lied with thy wife,
Yeah.
and thou shouldst have brought guiltiness upon us.
So that's being convicted of sin, right?
Yes,
Making
sir.
yourself guilty.
Yes, sir.
So this dude's still worried about the law. He's still worried about his righteousness. This is the second generation, and he's still there, worried about being righteous.
Man.
Right? What did Abimelech do after that? Because if you really righteous like that, you can't just say, hey, why you lie to me? You have to actually do something to promote justice. Remember, we was talking about that last time I was here. When you follow Christ, you promoting justice. So what he do?
And Abimelech charged all his people, saying, he that touches this man or his wife shall surely be put to death. Whoa.
Sound like a man after God's own heart. I know David did the adultery thing, but you remember when Nathan told him the story?
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, that man who did that, he should die. And that's the same thing he's saying. Is that if this commandment, the righteousness ain't enough, then yeah, I'm going to promise you death if you touch dude's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So,
Man.
worried about guilt and offering death.
Man.
Yes, sir. Let's go to Exodus chapter 18. Poor King Abimelech. Oh, man. Your knowledge is important. Make sure you study people. Make sure you study people. Because God forbid he would have had did something, it would have definitely been his fault.
Yeah.
Definitely been his fault. And you know, while we flipping there, you know, that's one of the things that I always advise people who ask me when they trying to get married to people in the church. It's like, you're going to have to tell somebody. Because how else is you going to know if you are dealing with a married man?
Right.
Or a married woman, for that matter.
Right.
Right? You got to ask other people who know them. Right? Unless you find yourself dealing with somebody else's wife.
Right. Or husband.
Or husband, excuse me.
Man.
Yes, sir. So Exodus chapter 18. I want to get straight into the law because the law is important, but we got to read this first because Moses was the lawgiver.
Yeah.
God gave him the law, he gave it to us, and I want to see how Moses dealt with non-Israelites. All right, so Exodus chapter 18, and let's start at verse 1, please.
When Jethro, the priest of Midian, Moses' father-in-law, heard of all that God had done for Moses and for Israel, his people, and that the Lord had brought Israel out of Egypt.
So Moses' wife was child of a pagan priest?
Jethro?
Jethro
Priest of Midian.
Priest of Midian.
Yeah.
That's a priest.
Yeah.
And the daughter was she was the daughter of a priest. Right? So I'm amazed that Moses even talking to this man. Because if he act like how Israel act nowadays on the street corner, he should be like cussing this man out, telling this man lick his boots or something like that.
I don't read this.
The last thing he should be saying is, well, we ain't see what he said. Let's see what he said. What did he say? Drop verse 5.
And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, came with his sons and his wife unto Moses into the wilderness where he encamped at the Mount of God.
So the pagan priest came to see Moses, and then he set up camp at the Mount of God. Okay.
And he said unto Moses, I, thy father-in-law, Jethro, am come unto thee, and thy wife, and her 2 sons with her. And Moses went out to meet his father-in-law, and did obeisance, and kissed him.
So he did obeisance. So he's showing respect.
Respect.
To this Midianite priest.
Ain't got nothing to do with kissing nobody's feet, kissing no hand, kissing no rings. He's showing respect.
The other way around, Moses kissed him.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sound like love your neighbor.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. That's what it sounds like. Yeah, finish that, please.
And they asked each other of their welfare, and they came into the tent.
He didn't call him a dirty dog, huh?
No.
He asked me if everything is okay.
And he didn't call him a devil.
Imagine what kind of world this would be if everybody cared about how everybody else was doing.
Wow.
All right, don't get me wrapped up in sentimental. Verse 9, please.
And Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which the Lord had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hand of the Egyptians. The stranger rejoicing.
So I wonder why. Like, I know, because God never gave his word to Midian, right? So I know Moses probably sitting there like, man, hold on, Pops, he only gonna save Israel.
What you mean God never gave his word to me?
I mean, that's how we act. That's how we act.
Abimelech knew that Abimelech called him Lord.
Yes, sir. Yeah, address them properly.
Hey,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm expecting Moses to be like, nah, you done, man. Your daughter might slide because she circumcised my son in the way, but like, you done. Your whole household's done. It's just us, it's just Israel. But he didn't say none of that.
And Jethro, again, verse 9, and Jethro rejoiced for all the goodness which the Lord had done to Israel, whom he had delivered out of the hands of the Egyptians. How did he know that?
Let's read verse 12. I need to know what Moses said.
And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrifices for God. And
Wait a minute, hold on. He took a burnt offering? You mean like he ran up, stole the burnt offering?
no,
Or he took one out of his own flock?
the book says, Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, took a burnt offering and sacrificed for God.
So you wait. I gotta, because you're talking about a non-Israelite that's gonna make a sacrifice now. Because I mean, like, I know the priesthood haven't been established yet, but nevertheless, I mean, like, Noah did and Abraham, but like, this is like a Midianite priest dude.
Right.
So what if he mingled his priest with that? Obviously, the Lord ain't worried about it because he's at the mount of God making a sacrifice.
Wait, my question to the people is, the Lord already told you in the scriptures that there's nothing new up under heaven. Isaiah 58 chapter says, the stranger that sojourns, that follows the Lord's commandments and rejoices in his Sabbaths, he said their sacrifices also he will accept. I think we need to read this book and have a change of mind. Jesus said in Philippians 2 and 5, let this mind... Oh, go.
Hey, I hear you. Hey, that's real life.
Go.
And so we just want to see what happened in response to this, right? Because, hey, he's a grown man. Any man can do whatever he wants to. Your reaction to it is what you're going to be judged on. So did all the elders run up on him and be like, nah, salvation is of the Jews? What had happened?
Man.
We in the middle of verse 12, right?
And all the elders of Israel, and Aaron came, and all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God.
So the high priest and all of the elders, every other time the elders is like hating on Moses. But somehow this time everybody's in sync and everybody's one, and they all eating bread with the pagan dude who sacrificed to the real God.
And don't forget, Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, priest of Midian. Wow.
And then what else?
And it came to pass on the morrow that Moses set to judge the people, and the people stood by Moses from the morning until the evening.
Okay.
And when Moses' father-in-law saw all that he did to the people, he said, what is this thing that thou doest to the people? Why sittest thou thyself alone? And all the people stand by thee from morning until evening. And Moses said unto his father-in-law.
So you see all them question marks there, right? So the Moses' father-in-law is basically questioning him. He's interrogating him. Like, what's all this you doing?
Yeah.
Right? And I know you're about to read. I know Moses said, shut up, you stupid heathen.
I can't read that.
Wicked false prophet, God preacher dude.
I can't read that.
Burn in hell. That's what he said, right? What he said?
And Moses said unto his father-in-law, because the people come unto me to inquire of God. And when they...
So he answered him. He didn't call him out his name.
He answered him according to the tenure of his question.
Okay, fine.
And when they have a matter, they come unto me, and I judge between one and another. And I do make them know the statutes of God and his law.
True.
And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good.
I know Moses was sitting there like thinking like, but I'm the one with the oracles of God. How buddy gonna tell me something?
Right.
And he don't even have understanding of circumcision. He don't know nothing about the Passover. How you gonna come tell me some stuff?
And not only that, the what I'm reading, I'm looking at out of the eyes of God. I'm looking at it out of the eyes of God, and I'm looking at this thing according to the tenure of his question, and he means it for good. Yes, when he said it's not good, let me show you.
I need everybody to like this because it's about to get real right now. Hit like real quick.
And Moses' father-in-law said unto him, the thing that thou doest is not good. Thou wilt surely wear away, both thou and this people that is with thee. For this thing is too heavy for thee. Thou art not able to perform it thyself alone. Hearken now unto my voice, and I will give thee counsel. And God shall be with thee.
So hold on, Moses, remember what's happening. Try to get the visuals shout out to Duell. Right? So Moses is the ex-prince of Egypt.
Yeah.
Right? So he got leadership skills.
Yeah.
Right? And this dude at first he's the prince of Egypt former, and now he's leading the flock of the living God. And then this random dude is going to come and give him advice, going to give him counsel. Okay? That's what we talking about. He's giving counsel to God's lawgiver. Right? Keep going.
Hearken down to my voice, and I will give thee counsel. And God shall be with thee.
Turn up.
Be thou for the people to Godward, that thou mayest bring the causes unto God. And thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them the way where they must walk, and the work that they must do.
I wonder how he know he's supposed to do all that. I don't know. Go ahead.
Man, I can't get the title of this lesson out of my head. I can't get the title out. Servants of God, servants of God, Israel versus the stranger.
And that's where we at. This is Israel versus stranger right now. Come on.
21. Moreover, I need to read 20 again. That got me, oh.
Yes,
And
sir.
thou shalt teach them ordinances and laws, and shalt show them the way wherein they must walk, and the work that they must do. Moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness. That's one of the commandments, ain't it?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And-
You know about that, huh?
And place such over them to be rulers of thousands and rulers of hundreds, rulers of fifties and rulers of tens, oh.
Yes, sir.
And let them judge the people in all seasons.
Now, I'm letting him read because this is important stuff here because he giving him direction.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
And it shall be that every great matter they shall bring unto thee, but every small matter they shall judge. So shall it be easier for thyself, they shall bear the burden with thee.
Now catch this.
If thou shalt do this thing, and God commanded thee so.
So don't just take my advice. Of course, you gotta deal with the Lord, right? So he even knew that part.
Yes, sir.
And even though I'm your elder, like he gonna command you so too. Go ahead.
Then thou shalt be able to endure, and all this people shall also go to their place in peace.
I know Moses probably was like, boy, what?
No. So Moses hearkened to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said.
Woo.
Whoa.
Man, imagine that.
Whoa.
Imagine that.
And stranger advising.
I'm speechless. Like
I would say I'm speechless though, but the last time I read my Bible, Proverbs the 21st chapter says, if I'm right,
okay.
the heart of the king is in the Lord's hands, as the rivers of water to turn it whithersoever he will. He said, by me, king reign.
Yes, sir.
Also nobles and princes. Oh, by the way, priests.
Oh, of course.
I had to get that out. I had
Yes,
to get
sir.
it. I had to get it out.
Hey, look, I hear you. Let's go. We're gonna transition into this law real quick.
He
At
said
the
transition.
last second,
He
we're
might
gonna
have-
turn
he
the
said
corner.
transition.
We're gonna turn the page.
Yeah, big word.
Yes, sir,
Big
transition.
word.
Straight into the law now. We dealt with the lawgiver and his background.
Yes.
And I felt like that was important again because whatever it is that you think you see Moses trying to write, it's important that you understand his background. That he took advice from a pagan priest, supposedly, right? I'll let y'all figure out whether he's pagan or not. I'm just gonna say that he did the sacrifice at the mount of God, and he wasn't killed for it.
Can I fast forward to our day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we're employees, and we take advice from our bosses.
We'll turn up.
Your boss tell you not to be late. Are they trying to hurt you or help you? Peel up on your attitude, sisters and brothers.
Man, if
Just food for thought.
somebody telling you not to be late, it's no doubt they trying to help you. Trying to get your check straight. That's your money. He talking about don't be late. Like, yeah, he needs you to be here, but like, that's your check.
Dre, the book said that obey those that have rule over you.
That's
For
what it says.
your good and for the Lord's sake.
Mm-hmm.
The knowledge of God, sister brothers, the mind is a terrible thing to waste.
Yes, it is.
Let's go to Exodus chapter 12, and we're going to deal with this Passover real quick, and then get off into some deeper law.
Balm of Gilead, y'all. Balm of Gilead. No hate, just love. All love.
It's a lot easier, too. It's a lot easier.
Think about all the negative energy you spending on hating somebody. You know, maybe you could be haters of God. Food for thought.
You hate his creation.
Food for thought.
Yes, sir.
Watch, like, share, post.
Like, share, post, turn. Exodus 12, verse 37.
And the children of Israel journeyed from Ramses to Sukkot. About 600,000 on foot. There were men besides children. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle.
So, at the birth of our nation, right from the beginning, straight out the womb or straight out the captivity, however you look at it,
Yeah.
there were 9 Israelites among us, right? It said mixed multitude. Mixed multitude means a mingled crowd. 600,000 to be exact. Footmen. Right? Now skip down to verse 43 and let's deal with this Passover because it's kind of important. If it kind of paves the way to the rest of the feast, I figure that if you can work yourself into the Passover, you might be good.
Ooh.
Come on.
And the Lord said unto Moses and Aaron, this is the ordinance of the Passover. There shall no stranger eat thereof.
So we're gonna kind of go slow in this one, right? The stranger is simply somebody you don't know. right? Somebody who's unaccustomed to something,
It's all.
right? That's two different definitions.
Yes, sir.
Somebody you just don't know, or somebody that's just not accustomed to whatever's going on here, right? In this case, we talking about the law, right? We talking about the Passover. So you can't pass over with me if I don't know you, because I don't know if you're accustomed. Right?
This is the ordinance of the Passover.
Yes, sir.
There shall no stranger eat thereof, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof.
Now this is important, right? You got to be a scholar here if you're going to deal with this topic. Because if you know anything about the law, then you know that you can't even buy a Hebrew servant.
Come on.
So when he sit here say every man's servant that's bought for money, he can't be talking about Israel, because that's against the law.
Yeah.
Right? Because a lot of people think that he's strangers talking about somebody from the tribe of Dan who live in the land of Judah. They're like, yeah, sometimes, but like here though, you can't buy him. So that's not the stranger we talking about. Right? Because every 7 years you got to release him according to the law of Pentecost. Shout out to everybody who was here when we did the release of Pentecost. Make sure you go back and double check that. Well, go ahead, 44.
45.
I'm sorry, 45.
A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof. In one house shall it be eaten.
Wait a minute, I think you missed something in 44. Can you start over?
Okay.
44.
It says, but every man's servant that is bought for money, when thou hast circumcised him, then shall he eat thereof.
Oh, okay, yeah. Keep going.
A foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof.
So, again, a Hebrew, even if he fell into debt, right, of another nation, again, if like some stranger, like a Chinese person came and moved in the land of Israel, and then my brother fell into debt, so he became his servant,
Right.
I still have the ability, according to the law,
Right.
to redeem him out of that.
You can do that.
Right? So again, this is still not talking about Israelites. We talking about people who are not Israelites. Right?
Make it plain. Lord.
Leviticus 25 is one of the favorite scriptures that talk about possession of the nations. Right? Leviticus 25:45, I just quoted real quick. It says that Israel could make servants out of the strangers that's among them. Right? Even if you bought somebody, but here, we just read, even if you purchased someone who was Phoenician, for instance, they can still take the Passover after being circumcised. Right? 45?
We read that a foreigner and a hired servant shall not eat thereof.
So a foreigner is just somebody from a different country. Just because you settled here doesn't automatically mean you come take the Passover. You got to go through some stuff.
Right.
Right? 48.
And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it.
So translation. So when one who is unaccustomed lives with you and desires to take the Passover, right? Not just him, but his sons also
Yep.
become circumcised. That's how you know they serious about the custom.
That is right.
Right? They no longer strangers then, because they dealing with Abraham covenant, right? And we know Israel's supposed to be circumcised on the 8th day. So again, we're not talking about a dude from the tribe of Dan that's just here with us.
Right.
We talking about people who don't know about circumcision. Right? And then after we do that, how do we supposed to treat this non-Israelite person that now is accustomed to what we do? The rest of that.
Let all his males be circumcised, and then let him come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof.
Keep going.
One law shall be to him that is homeborn, and unto the stranger that sojourneth among you.
Why?
Thus did all.
Hold on, wait. No, I'm sorry. Why to them? Why? Because he keeping God's customs now. So he gonna be treated just like I treat him.
Yeah.
That means after I take the thing and I sip of the cup and eat the bread, boom, that's to you, and then to the Chinese dude who was circumcised and is now accustomed with us.
Oh, different style.
Yes,
he
sir.
said one law.
Yes, sir. Let's go to Leviticus chapter 22.
Man, I gotta read that 49.
Oh, pardon me.
One law shall be to him that is homeborn.
Oh, that's important.
And unto the stranger that sojourneth among you.
Yes, sir.
Man.
He's not a stranger anymore. That's why it's one law. Right? Leviticus 22. And this time, now, for the last few minutes, we're going to separate out another way to look at a stranger. Right? Because I said when we posted on Facebook a couple times, I said sometimes stranger means non-Israelite, sometimes it don't. Right? So we're going to look at a different instance here. Leviticus 22, and let's do verse 1. Whenever you get that, read it, please.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto Aaron and to his sons, that they separate themselves from the holy things of the children of Israel, and that they profane not my holy name, and those things which they hallow unto me. I am the Lord.
So this is Aaron that he talking to. So we talking high priesthood, right? In this chapter, that's what we talking about. The high priest, right? Who gets to eat all the holy stuff, right? Let's do verse 10. Let's see what he say about it.
There shall no stranger eat of the holy thing, a sojourner of the priest, or an hired servant shall not eat of the holy thing.
So again, we talk about the high priest. So when they say strangers, we talking about people who are not high priests.
Right.
Right. That's why when you get to I think Samuel, when David needed to eat the showbread, and he had to explain himself to the high priest in order to get the bread, because like, nah, you a stranger. Even though Samuel had anointed him king already, you a stranger to this. Right. So in this case, the stranger is just somebody who is not of the priesthood.
Yes.
Specifically.
Yes.
Right? And God gave David mercy when he had to eat the bread. You know, that's another thing. Make sure you go read about that. But the scriptures say only the high priest said, anybody else, stranger.
Yes.
Right? Flip over to 18. We almost out of here. I appreciate everybody hanging in there. Shout out to Cheryl Thomas. I see you. Brother Kaleem say Siri keeps the Sabbath also, huh? Okay. I might be guilty, bro. I need to have my Siri keep the Sabbath. Oh my gosh. I didn't even think about that. Man. Oh, you got me. You got me.
Leviticus 18 verses 1 through 3.
Yes, sir.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, I am the Lord your God.
True.
After the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein you dwelt, shall you not do. And after the doings of the land of Canaan, where I bring you, shall you not do. Neither shall you walk in their ordinances.
So long story short, don't be like the Egyptians and don't be like the Canaanites. Right? Make sure you write down Leviticus 18 so you can read this entire chapter on your own. But right here, he's telling them this because, again, Egypt and Canaan was into the incest thing, right? And God wants his servants to be different.
Yeah.
Right? Read verse 24, please.
Defile not you yourselves in any of these things, for in all these the nations are defiled, which I cast out before you.
And that's why you can kind of go back and forth when you're reading about the king of the Philistines and Abraham, right? These laws here. Go ahead.
And the land is defiled, therefore I do visit the iniquity thereof upon it. And the land itself vomited out her inhabitants.
So Israel served the gods of Egypt. That's why he told them to leave that stuff on the other side, right, and serve the Lord your God, right? Because he didn't want Israel to be involved in these things that these people were involved in. Again, if you read Leviticus 18, they was involved in bestiality, child sacrifice, sodomy, right? Verse 26.
You shall therefore keep my statutes and judgments, and shall not commit any of these abominations, neither any of your own nation, nor any stranger that sojourneth among you.
So this is being spoken to Israel again.
Man.
So when he say stranger, we talking about non-Israelite. If somebody from the tribe of Reuben is living in the land of Judah, why did he need this extra word? Because this law is given to him too. So why you got to make special provisions for that?
Exactly.
He already know not to do the incest thing and the bestiality thing. Right? 29.
For whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people.
It say that if you commit these abominations, you're going to be cut off from the nation of Israel? I missed that.
No.
Again?
It says, for whosoever shall commit any of these abominations, even the souls that commit them shall be cut off from among their people.
From among their people, from among your people.
Yes.
Right? So if your people is not Israel and you do this, you're going to get cut off from among them.
Yeah.
Right? Because when you get to Revelation, they got all nations, tongues, and there's a number no man can number of all nations, tongues, and languages. Right? So all people represented there, but you're going to get cut off from among yours if you do this.
Ain't that something? No wonder the Lord said he's going to get a stranger a better name than a homeborn.
Well,
food for thought.
Let's do Deuteronomy 24. We almost out of here. Deuteronomy 24, at the beginning of this chapter, he talking about domestic family relations. Then he talk about the thieves. Then what happened when you lend something. Then on 14, verse 14, to switch off talking about Israel. Let's pick it up there, please. Thou
shalt not oppress a hired servant that is poor and needy, whether he be of thy brethren or of thy strangers that are in thy land within thy gates.
So a hired servant, somebody who you just hired to do a job, fix your roof or something like that. You can't oppress him, even though he's a servant.
Nope.
Right? Because remember, that's what a lot of people like to quote. Like, they going to be our servants in the kingdom. But like the law says, you can't oppress
You
them.
can't do it. You can't do it.
Just like when you go to McDonald's, they serve you. So what's the big deal in having a servant? You still can't oppress them.
Can't do it.
Finish, please.
At his day, thou shalt give him his hire. Neither shall the sun go down upon it, for he is poor, and setteth his heart upon it. Upon it, has meant his face, sisters and brothers. Lest he cry against thee unto the Lord, and it be sin unto thee.
Now, this is Bible application right here. A couple things. The first thing is say, the day you're going to give him his hire and the sun will not go down upon him. So that means even though he your servant, you can't even treat him like America treat us and make him wait 2 weeks for his money. You got to give him his money immediately the same day.
Come on, we reading the book.
And then check this out. He going to cry to the Lord against you? How's he going to cry to the Lord again? Maybe because he your servant and he learned something. And he going to cry out against you and it's going to become sin to you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, because they cry out to the Most High God of Israel. Don't mean they children of Israel. You cry out to the Most High God, he going to answer something. According to justice.
Paul said, as much as lies within you, live peaceably with all men. Oh man.
Yes, sir. We almost there.
It just showed me Jesus Christ yesterday, today.
Shout out to Adiah Grace Israel. I'm trying my best, sis. Come on.
Thou shalt, verse 17.
Yes, sir.
Thou shalt not pervert the judgment of the stranger, nor of the fatherless, nor take a widow's raiment to pledge. But thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in Egypt, and the Lord thy God redeemed thee there.
Yeah.
Therefore I command thee to do this thing.
Because you was a bondman in Egypt, and God redeemed you. What makes you think that God won't redeem your bondman? They're just saying, like, food for thought. Go get a plate. You do the dishes.
21.
Yes, sir.
When thou gatherest the grapes of thy vineyard, thou shalt not glean it afterward. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow.
Why?
And thou shalt remember that thou was a bondman in the land of Egypt. Therefore I command thee to do this thing.
What does being a bondman in Egypt have to do with poor people of your same nation?
We gotta do this. We gotta do this last one, man.
Yes, sir. And while we flip into Psalms 117, what does that have to do with it? Because again, you can't make Israel bondmen. So we're not talking about Israel here. He reminded you of your bondage because again, Leviticus 25:45, you allowed to have bondmen, but you're not gonna be able to treat them any old kind of way. You're gonna have to actually treat them better than you was treated. Right? Remember, leave some food for the poor and the fatherless and the widows. Yep. And because them people are vulnerable to fall in bondage. If you ever wonder why, that's why. Because when poor people hungry, they fall into bondage.
Yes.
But Israel can't.
Yes.
So we talking about non-Israel. Right? Now, I promised y'all we was going to read a whole Psalms. Woo! I hope we got 30 minutes left. I hope we got 30 minutes left. Okay. Psalms 117.
Y'all ready?
She doing that 30 minutes left thing. Okay, this means 30 minutes left. Let's go.
Oh, praise the Lord, all ye nations.
Hey, hold on. I ain't even turned it. Hold on. I want to read this too. It's nice and long. Can you take it from the top, please?
From the top?
Yep, I'm here.
Like it never ever stop? Oh, praise the Lord.
Yeah.
All ye nations. Praise him. All ye people.
All you Israelites.
All ye people.
All the people?
All ye nations.
Oh.
All ye people. All ye nations.
Nation of Ephraim?
All ye people.
All the nations.
All ye nations.
Never mind. Go ahead.
For his merciful kindness is great toward us.
Praise God.
And the truth of the Lord endureth forever.
Yeah.
Praise ye the Lord.
Woo!
Woo!
I ain't never heard a truer statement. Right? Shout out to the God of Israel for not being like people and only dealing with your kids and casting off the rest of the city. You know, I think if more Israel, since we talking to Israel, more Israel took that stance, maybe our city wouldn't be so bad since we supposed to be seeking the peace of the city we find ourselves in. Man. Cue the music, DJ. I'm done.
Man, Israel of God got two wonderful sources here. The four winds of heaven. Get it. Like it. Read it. Get you some knowledge. We got the Black History told by the prophets of the Bible coming up in the month of February, right around the corner, y'all. Be there or be square. 5 weeks of your history, world history, as told by the prophets of the Bible. Will, the thrill, give me the music, brother.
I don't ask, I guess.
Man.
Oh, he must want me to flow. Okay. Yeah. Now they call me Loxy.
I don't know.
Hey, if y'all want a part 2, make sure y'all get in the inbox. I had 30 scriptures. I had twice.
The bomb, yeah.